Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be covering some of the basics of the 3DESIGN graphic user interface. More advanced users or users who have been using the software for a long time may already be familiar with these topics, so you might want to go ahead and skip to the next video. However, if you would like a refresher in the very basics of 3DESIGN, or if you're new to the program and you'd like to find your way around, please feel free to stick around. We'd love to have you. So, the basic 3DESIGN interface as you see it here is fully customizable. First of all, we have the three-dimensional design area that you see here. Now by default this is going to be in one giant viewport. However, some viewers might like to go to View, Viewport Layout, and change their viewport depending on how they like to work. Here we have a 4-viewport layout with each viewport being movable independently of each other. We also have 2 horizontal, we have 2 vertical, we have a 3-viewport layout. You can of course zoom in and out on these individually. And we also have a 4 vertical, where you have 3 vertical here and 1 main viewport here. So these are good viewport areas and you can use them or adjust them to your liking. I am more of an old school user, so I like the one giant viewport here. Another nice thing about 3DESIGN that you can do is you can actually go to background here and you can change the background color. Now by default, if I reset to default here, we have a blue on blue background. And I like the blue color, but sometimes selecting objects that are blue can be hard to see. So I do have the freedom to go in and change the background as I see fit. Now we have 2 different colors here. The one on the left will be for the top. The one on the right will be for the bottom. And as you can see, you can get some pretty crazy looks with 3DESIGN. You can actually customize it to your liking. I'm going to go back to the defaults, and I like to do white on top and a gray on the bottom. We hit OK, and it saves that view for me as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of other things here within 3DESIGN, and this really gets down to the basics of the layout of the program. Now that we have the user interface how we like it, now that it's set up where it's attractive and appealing to us, we're going to look at a couple of different things. The first thing we're going to look at is the 3 drawers available in 3DESIGN. The first drawer that you see, of course, is the parametric tree, and it's going to be on the left. As well as on the bottom here, if I click this little arrow down here on the bottom left, I have the properties menu that's available. Now when I select a tool, you'll see that my properties by default come up down here. Now again, this is customizable. For example, I like to have a full parametric tree, and I like to have my properties on this side where my tools are. If I close the properties here, you can see that I have the properties still available here. So we'll go ahead and draw a sphere, we'll center it, and we'll leave it at platinum, and we'll validate. Now again, if you wish to have your properties on this side, you just go to your editor here, Custom, Create Editor, Properties. Now I have my properties available here, and I can minimize this to close it. Validate. Another useful tool with the drawers that we see here is the ability to actually expand these drawers and move them if you have, say, dual monitors. What I can do is I can click this little bar right here, and you'll see that it actually detaches this window, and I can do the same thing for this drawer over here. Oops. And now I have these 2 pieces that are totally separate and detached. Now if I have a separate monitor, if I'm using maybe a big screen for my design area and I want to use these on the smaller monitor that's closer to me, I can actually move these wherever I wish onto my second monitor. So a lot of our users find it useful to set up that way. If I want to get back to default settings, I just close the X and hit the X again. So now we have our parametric tree here, and on the right side we have our tools that are available for us in 3DESIGN. Now the tools, as you can see, I can pull the drawer out and it changes the configuration of the tools as far as how many are shown in a width. I generally like to have 4 or 5 wide. Now the tools are going to be laid out in a fairly logical manner. We have 3 main modules. We have the part mode, which is going to be all of your construction tools, your solid object tools. The part mode is divided into 2 different parts. We have the solid module, as you see here in the top right, and by clicking solid module you'll see that it changes to the jeweler's bench. And the jeweler's bench are all of my jewelry specific tools. My pavés, my stone builders, my channel prongs, everything that I need for building or for jewelry specific applications is going to be found right here. I'll go back to the solid module just by clicking on that button again. The second module we have is the sketch mode. The sketch mode, if I click on it, you'll see my grid appears, and it's going to be all of my drawing tools. Everything I need to draw a part that I will then use to create a 3D object will be right here in the sketch mode. We have a lot of different tools. We have drawing tools, we have modifying tools where I can go back and modify the lines that I've drawn, transformation tools, tools that affect the points. We'll get into these more in later videos, but for now it's just important to know that we have all of my drawing tools here in the sketch module. Again, just like the part mode, we have 2 modes here. We have the freestyle mode, which is drawing, modifying curves. We also have the layout mode. And the layout mode will be for aligning objects. So say I have a piece of filigree drawn here, and I want to draw another piece of filigree here, and then I want them to be lined up exactly in the same plane here. I can just use these tools to align and to make objects act as I wish. The third mode that we have is the rendering mode. And the rendering mode is going to be here. When I first click on the rendering mode, you'll see it asks me if I would like to load a rendering template. Just for the sake of showing you what this is, I'm going to say yes. Now, with 3DESIGN, we have several preloaded rendering templates that I can choose from. And basically, a rendering template is a pre-made environment that's going to give you a certain look when you go to render your piece. So as you can see in ring 6 here, I have a gradient gray to white background that's going to give me a certain light direction, a certain light strength, a certain background, and every rendering I do with ring 6 template will have this same effect, of course, that the positioning and the actual piece itself will be different versus ring 7 where you can see it's more of a dark background with the same ring. Now this is useful because we can actually create rendering templates ourselves. So if we're going to have a website or we want to have a consistent look to our jewelry when we send out our renderings to our customers, we can actually create our own environments and save them in the rendering templates folder. Then of course, as I have my new ones here, whenever I go to do a rendering, I can actually pull those up and use those so that I have some consistency across any of my marketing pieces that I do. We'll show you again how to do that in future videos that focus more on rendering. For now, I'm going to show you a couple more things that have to do with the drawers and with the user interface, and then we will move on to other topics.